Hey, hey, hey.
Welcome to another gym time with myself, Debbie,
And
and my brother.
myself, Maurice, and no one else. And
Dennis.
Dennis and Millicent. We didn't practice any of that.
Well,
Is
guys,
everybody good?
we are here, and I hope that everyone is doing well. How's everyone doing today?
Doing well.
I'm doing well.
Good, good.
I'm
Um,
stuck in a storm. Not stuck, but sitting and watching God's amazement really at this storm that's passing through. So the storm is named Debbie.
I am not
Quiet
surprised.
after the storm.
I'm a storm all
So
by myself.
we've been chuckling about that the whole time. And my family, everybody's talking, oh, Debbie's here. Debbie just
Debbie's
needs to calm
there.
down. Debbie just needs to calm down so we can do what we need to do.
I
Just
wish
all
I
kinds
was
of
there. I wish I
stuff.
was.
Oh, so yeah, we just it's caused a lot of problems in Florida where I live, but right now I'm in South Carolina. So it's just a lot of rain. Schools are out, grandchildren are at home. My son-in-law is working from home, daughter is working from home because there's so much expected flooding. It's just a water and a rainstorm, not really
Wow.
wind, so it's pretty bad. It's flooded places where people have to be wading through with chest deep water, and so
Wow.
just keep, yeah. It came in beside Tallahassee, but the way it came in, it just Florida just curves up to Tallahassee, and all of this right here is just flooded out. Like
Oh
places
wow.
that you would never imagine. I drove those places many, many times to get to my daughter in school in Tallahassee, and I can't believe that they're flooded out like that, really bad.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Well,
they're claiming
I,
state of emergency there, state of emergency in South Carolina, state of emergency in North Carolina.
well, I'm glad that you're safe, and we pray that God will keep everyone safe as well who's in the storm. And also,
Yeah.
just to put a footnote that Millicent might cut off because of the storm, but she'll try to come back in anyhow.
Mm,
Um,
cancel.
I like to just first of all do my disclaimer, um, uh, and my disclaimer, and you know what, Debbie, I didn't mean to click their ones on at this moment in time, to tell you the truth. Yeah, I was there and I got all excited. I was clicking away, and it was like, oh yeah, I weren't bringing you in yet, but that's fine. We're still going through teething problems or teething things, but as long as the show is live and going. So I just want to say first, welcome to everybody who's watching on, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and thank you for those on TikTok that may be joining or joined already, and also those that are watching the rerun as well. Thank you very much for your support. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. So my disclaimer is that we're here to encourage, motivate, empower you to our best ability. That's why we have so many shows, and there'll be something for everybody. Even if you go back on YouTube and you look at them, there'll be something for everybody. And what I say is that when you try these things, these formulas or strategies that we put forward, if they don't work, now by that cut we neck. Yeah, we're just trying to encourage you. No, on a real, adjust it to who you are. You know, um, because not everybody is going to present it the same way as us. So you are unique as much as we are, but there are formats that you can use and take away from this, food for thought, and make it your own. That's my disclaimer for today.
Right.
Debbie?
So, as you
Oh, you-
guys know, we do this every week. And so, if you've watched us, you know that we basically have a disclaimer. And the reason why we do that is because some people expect professionals to be on here. Not that we're not professional in our own rights, because we are mentors, coaches, counselors, and so forth. However, we are talking from life experience as well, and we are all on a journey. So we are here to encourage you, motivate you, and inspire you to live better lives within your relationships and take away some of the tips use them, share them, do whatever you need to do in order to make sure that your relationships are thriving. So tonight we have on our guests again, and you guys have given a lot of food for thought. You have really impacted some of the listeners, and so we really wanted to bring you back on for part 2 and share some of the things that you believe will empower people, help them to be able to come through the challenging parts of their relationship. So we were talking about last week signs that your relationship is coming to an end. However, we are optimists, and we believe that even though there are many signs that it's coming to the end, we believe that relationships also can be revived if people put in the time and effort and get the right coaching, get the right counseling, get the right support. So we did touch on quite a few things, and we kind of crossed over a bit into solutions and ideas of how you can resolve conflict and how you can live a better life with your spouse. And so I'm not too sure if you wanted to kick off, Mel. Paul was saying that you might needed to go sooner rather than later. And where has Paul gone and where is Dennis gone? This is not good. So yeah, do you want me to do a recap on last week on some of the things that we were actually speaking about, and then maybe you might want to come in? Right. So some of the things that we was talking about last week, and I'm just going back to my notes. Signs of your relationship that's coming to an end. So I spoke about emotional distance. I spoke about constant conflict, and I can go over some of the signs. So some of the signs with the emotional distance is that your partner feels emotionally disconnected to you and little intimacy or affection is shown. Constant conflict, we know what that is. Frequent arguments and unresolved conflicts dominate your interactions. Lack of communication, again, it speaks for itself. Conversations become superficial or cease altogether. People are treading on eggshells. They want to avoid topics as much as possible. Indifferences, so you and your partner show a lack of interest in each other's lives, activities and well-being. Living separate lives, so like two ships sailing past each other. Loss of trust has been broken due to betrayal, lies, or constant unreliability. And I kind of touched on the unreliability because I don't think that people realize that their word is their bond, and if they keep on letting their spouse down, then it forms a lack of trust. People think that it's only like in terms of their relationship and, oh, I don't trust that person because they don't allow me to go into their phone, or, you know, they're quite a secretive person and things like that. But there's other areas where, you know, you can lose lack of trust in someone. And the last one was like your future plans, that you're basically going in different directions. You're no longer aligned, and there's conflict because if you're no longer aligned, then the decisions that you're going to be making, i.e. let's move to Portugal, that's no longer something that you want to do, or something that you've never ever wanted to do, but because for the sake of your relationship you decided to say yes, I do, and then that will cause obviously conflict down the line. So that was some of the areas that we was looking at when we was talking about signs of your relationship coming to an end. So I wanted to touch on solutions this week. So maybe we can talk about a sign and then we can talk about the solution based upon that sign, if that will work for you, Mel.
So I'm just going to say that I'm not at home. I'm in the Premier Inn. I'm trying to use their internet and it's not any good at all. And then I'm using the phone, and then for some reason the signal in here ain't great, so it's cut me off.
Wow.
I normally have such a good signal, like especially at home, because I'll jump on the normal internet. I can't believe it. And then it wouldn't connect. Nothing would connect. I was just sitting here like, what am I gonna do? You know. But I don't know if you touched on the intimacy part as well. That disappears.
Yeah, I did.
a problem solving, that you no longer can solve problems between you,
Yeah.
and you feel all alone when you're next to them as well. We was touching on that last week, Mo, about feeling lonely, even though the person who you're loving or loving you, whatever else, it
Was
seems
in the
that it's
room.
coming to an end. You just feel all alone in the same room.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
my one, this is taken from verywellmind.com, and it says that because you just know it. And in some respects, I don't always agree with just know it, unless it's some kind of domestic violence. The man keeps on
I
ripping
mean,
with
just
phone.
know it. What do
Yep.
you mean, just know it?
Well, this is what they're saying. You just know it, that gut feeling that it's over.
Oh,
Uh,
right.
I don't really agree with that in itself, because it's like it being, you're looking outside and it's sunny, and people put on clothes according to what they seemingly. Oh, look, it's hot outside. Like today was a good example. It was warm. It was sunny, and then all of a sudden it just started to rain. I saw so many people in shorts and everybody's running trying to cover up. So it doesn't. It's not always what it looks like, or what you feel inside, that it's over, because it can be salvageable as well. I just wanted to say, as I said, I'm reading from verywellmind.com. So that's there from their perspective, and that's from my one as well. So I just wanted to talk because I got cut off.
So I wanted to say to everyone that is joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. And you can join us in the chat if there's any questions that you want to ask us individually. We have Millicent on here, we have Dennis, you have myself and Paul. If there's any questions that you want to ask, put it in the chat and we will try and answer you as best as possible. Or if you just want to make a comment, you can also go ahead and make the comments. Please share, please subscribe, and let's hit it off. Go ahead then, Millicent.
Hi, hey, how is everybody doing? We already went through all of that, so I know how you all are doing. Um, I just want to say to whomever is on here that my life is an open book. I really believe that. I'm very, very open to answering any questions you want to ask. I don't care how deep it is or how sensitive it is. Just find a way to get it out of your system and put it out there so that we can discuss it. And that was one of the things I found that helped me through the times. I'm going to tell you about the two times, but the times that I needed help and guidance and support. And so when I asked questions, I got answers, and I really, really, it was so helpful to me. So one of the things I want to do first is read something to you. Um, I have the wrong one. So. Okay, so it's about relationship loss, and relationship loss is so important to us. Relationship loss. Let me find it again. I'm so sorry. I just had it and I lost it because it's written. Okay. So relationship loss is like losing a part of your childhood experiences through you can lose it through childhood experiences from changing countries or different things, which is my situation. I left Jamaica when I was 11. I left England when I was 17. Those are like really, really important years to not make that change with children, but that's what happened to me. And then of course I say of course because you may already know I joined the military when I came to the United States and got married, had a divorce. And once I got out, I got married again and got a divorce. Job changes. Job changes. I don't think the military really realizes how significant it is when we. Am I the only one here?
No,
No,
we're here in the background.
I've put
Okay, I
you on
can't
the
see.
screen so that people can see who's talking.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see you guys. I'm like, whoa. So anyway, so I don't think the military realized that job changes is such a significant change and loss for people. And then personal friendships, I lost many of those due to the different change in the military. I stayed in for 20 something years. And so we change, like, if you have a family, you change every 3 years. If you don't have a family, you change every 18 months. And so that's really, really
it takes its toll on you. It's not always traumatic, but it takes its toll on you.
So a question
So
for you, Melissa, before you go on. I know in the background, um, is this part of the signs of a relationship ending? Because that's our topic tonight, and how you can start building it. Um, because the lost one, we're going to cover that a little bit more and in detail, and you're going to be front and center. So I just wanted to just say that to say if you're on topic, in case you go off topic.
oh, you mean I might need to say those things later on instead of right
Yeah, I
now.
mean,
Hmm.
tonight's show was, as you know, last week we did about
Solutions.
the signs that a relationship has come to an end, you know.
Hmm.
And so what we're trying to do tonight is find solutions, or put solutions out that
Hmm.
to that you could repair
Hmm.
um, a broken relationship.
Hmm. The reason why I said those things prior is to lead up to the solutions, because the solutions were were part of what happened, right?
Okay,
Okay.
that's good.
So
Go
so
ahead.
the marriage, the divorces, um, one of the first one, I realized that things were, um, I wasn't having any more fun with my spouse. I wasn't I didn't have intimate conversations, much less physical intimacy with my spouse, because I just couldn't. I just couldn't. I was sad. I felt dried out. I felt like my energy was gone. And so one of the things I did, I was already in church. And so one of the things I did, I turned to God, I turned to the scriptures, and I would read and read and read those scriptures late at night to put something in me that was inspiring or made me happy. So the final thing for me was trying to get to a counselor. He was not in agreement with that, did not want to go, you know, black man on his pedestal that nobody can help him, especially another man, especially a white man, because I only found white counselors at the time. And so I decided to go on my own. And so I went on my own, and I learned a lot of techniques and ways to handle the conflict at home on my own, him not knowing that I was being helped by the counseling. And then the third thing that I did, church, counselor, and the third thing I did was, which was the overall reason, is I wasn't happy. I was not happy. So there's no way I could raise a happy child. I had one child at the time. We had one child at the time, and I couldn't. I know that I couldn't keep her happy if I wasn't happy. So that was my other reasons. Those are my three solutions that I came up with that helped me to decide to end the relationship. So I know that sometimes we don't have to end the relationship, but in my case, I felt like I needed to end the relationship because he was verbally abusive, and I know that that can only escalate into physical abuse, which it did.
Wow. Wow. Debbie?
Yeah, so I'm listening, but I'm also in the back on Instagram, and I was actually thinking, so when you had to deal with the breakup, was it purely because you were saying this relationship is going nowhere? You couldn't see that it was going to be salvageable at all, and was your partner in agreement with you?
He was not in agreement. He felt like he was fine. This didn't just happen overnight. 6 months into the marriage, I realized that he was not faithful. And so 2.5 years later is when I decided to end the marriage.
Wow. Wow.
So do you believe that people can overcome their relationships even when there's infidelity?
Yes. Oh, yes. That's why I stayed so long. That's why I stayed so long. I really believe that. That if we could go to counseling, if we could talk it out, if we could go to church together, we could look, look at our friends. We had many friends that were married, and it didn't work for us. It did not. Um, so eventually, I found out that there were many things in his background that caused him to be the way. So many serious, serious, serious trauma, of people dying, people being killed, murders, different things he was exposed to growing up that caused him to be the way he was.
So, with that being said, was it because the relationship had deteriorated so much on so many different levels? Because you did speak about domestic abuse, why you wasn't able to salvage it?
Yes, that's what I felt. That's what I believe. My life was endangered. I was threatened by him more than once in different ways. Um, I can mention one of the ways. He was in the Marine Corps. I was in the Navy. He was deployed often, which was part of the reason, probably. But one time he came back from the Philippines with a bow and arrow, and he put the bow and arrow on the wall, and he said he would use it one day.
Oh wow.
So those things, and that was not the only threat. So those things played in my mind often, making sure that I was always vigilant of where he was, what
Mm,
was happening. You can't live like that. You can't be happy like that. I couldn't be. So even though I kept myself inspired by going to church and praying and reading my word and doing things outside, I remember one of the things I did all the time was I would take the long way home. I would take the
mm,
long route home. I would leave my work, pick up my daughter, and drive the long way home. And then I joined a softball team just so I'd have something to do after work and not be able to come home and have to interact with him. What I would do is come in, get the baby ready, put her to bed, get some dinner ready, and put myself to bed, and try to do that way so that we would not have this going on. Yeah.
it's funny you saying about the long route home. I remember doing that long. You just don't want to go home, you know. And I think one of the things that's missing with some people about restoration when things are going wrong, and we say it in every show, that is that communication. You know, it's like if you're at work and you've done something wrong, you know, and your manager has noted that you've done something wrong. This for them to let you know, listen, this isn't how we do it, you know, or it's not done this way. I don't like how you do it, whatever they're going to word it. And I think that's what's missing in relationships that, from my perspective, that true communication, you know. I was reading something here on verywellmind.com, and this is the truth. In the early days of a relationship, every conversation with our partner is incredible, exciting. We're discovering more about them and sharing little bits of ourselves. And but why don't we talk about the things that we're displeased with? You know, we can't always be people pleasers, you know, but what we can do is let them know how you feel. That then you're pleased in yourself. You should feel good in yourself that, you know what, I got that off my chest. I was able to say that. We shouldn't have to walk on eggshells in any relationship. You know, as a man, you know, I know that I've been in a position where that dominance and arrogance, that you can't tell me nothing, and that quietened the person, where then later on they said to me, I felt like I was walking on eggshells, you know, which made me look at myself. And I think the first thing about restoration from my perspective is self-discovery. Yeah, about looking in yourself and seeing what you have brought to the table that has brought this negativity to the relationship. Likewise with the other person, if you're reflective and you're looking, you'll see that it's never just one person, it's both parties. You've both got into this relationship together, and now everything's all up in the air. We're not talking about domestic violence and things like that, because that's a side footing that you have to deal with and get out of. If you're in danger, you need to get out. Yeah, I'm not saying divorce. I'm not saying never go back. You need to get out, whether you're a man suffering domestic violence, because if you're going through that, you're going to find yourself not knowing yourself anymore, because you're allowing someone to beat your personality out of you, beat your ideologies and everything that you stood for as a man. You know, I've been there. That's a whole different subject. You know, but I've been there. Um,
Yeah.
and you don't know who you are, because you know you could hit someone straight there, but when you restrain yourself and you're allowing someone to keep hitting that hammer down, beating you down, there'll be nothing left of you. So that's a side note that If you're in a domestic violence situation, you need to find a place of safety. Um, so, as I said, I wasn't talking about that. I'm saying that you've gone through different traumatic situations. You know, the same. I think we said it in one. The same effort that it took for you to get this relationship working in the first place, the courting, the dating, the late night phone calls. Now you're living with the person or you're married. Listen, you can have pillow talk. You can still have pillow talk, you know? And when you used to have a sense of humor, oh, you're boring now. Well, what happened? You know, are you boring? Was you just boring in the first place? Um, or and it was just you had a script and you ran out of stuff. Excuse me. This is my sense of humor. Yeah, I love to laugh, you know, and I think that if we're wanting to build, you can, even though things are going to haywire. It's openness, truthfulness, transparency, and you might say that's all the same thing, but in some respects, it's intertwined as one. But that's the good start. The good start is listening, hearing what the other person's saying, acknowledging that, and translate back your feelings on that situation. Now, let me tell you something what you mustn't do. Take note. Make sure you have a pen. And there's only one thing. Don't fire 5 things all at once. And which one do you want him or her to deal with? You've got 5 things on the table already, and he's trying to answer or she's trying to answer one of them, and you already reached 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, and it's frustrating. Yeah. So yes, there may be some issues that you had. 50, 100, it don't make any difference. It's dealing with one problem at a time. You know, you don't throw. I don't know where this analogy has come from, but I like it. When you're planting seeds, you don't just throw all the seeds into one hole. You need to be planting them individually, yeah, for it to grow. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, yeah, for it to grow, yeah. So that's the same way how you need to deal with your relationship, one problem at a time. You might have a big bush. Let's cut it all back, but one cut at a time. And you're going to find yourself in a good place of communication. And
Oops.
Oh,
Go ahead, Millicent. He's frozen. And we can't hear you.
can't hear
What's going
you.
on today?
Because I muted myself
You
because
muted.
there's
Okay.
noises in my background. Sorry about that. So I just want to piggyback off of him. One of the things in social work therapy sessions that we're taught is you find out everything that's going on with the family, the couple, the individual, and then you ask them, what is the most important thing? What do you want to work on first? So just like Paul just said, don't be throwing everything all at once. Or if you do, it's not that you have to. It's not that you have to deal with everything all at once. Choose something to work on because it does cause frustration and confusion in the conversation, in the communication.
Absolutely. So, Dennis, I'm
absolutely.
aware that you're driving, and I want you to keep your eyes on the road.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm good.
but what is your thoughts on regards to this? So we spoke last week about the signs of a relationship ending, and you really spoke about several different areas where you could see that your relationship was ending and how challenging and how difficult that was for you. What what would you add to this week in terms of how you can restore a relationship that is going bad? So what you said is that you waited and you didn't really start to resolve issues until it kind of got really bad. Now, if you could have interjected somewhere along the line earlier on, what would have been the things that you would have done? What are the things that you could tell the listeners to kind of look out for, identifying that there are signs there and how they could possibly make changes sooner rather than later?
Um, one thing is the one thing I noticed is that when that person dresses up and leave, but don't dress up for you,
Mm.
that's a big red flag. When she dresses up or he dresses up, and he never goes, he never take that time out, or she never takes that time out to dress up with you, that's a problem. I always talk about the crickets because the crickets they speak volumes. Crickets are you're thinking of things to say to that person. That person you've learned their habits, right? And I know I could only speak from myself and what I learned in therapy was the I used to love looking at my ex-wife when she come out the shower. I mean, I liked that, and I didn't notice that until I was telling my therapist, and he said, I said, but she came out and she had the towel over her. He said that was a sign she was done. I'm like, what? What do you mean? He said, well, she knew that's what you like, and when she came out the shower, when she started covering herself, I really didn't pay attention to it. But when you look back in your mind, like I said, when you're up close on it, you can't see it, and you got to get up 1,000 feet above, and then you see it. It's so clear. It was so painfully obvious to me that um, she was gone when that person gone in their mind and in their heart. There's no coming back. You could cry a river. You could do all those things. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, I, I just know one thing that when you see those signs, don't discard it. Don't look past it. Pay attention to your woman. Pay attention to your man, because that's what they're asking for. That's what we're asking for attention. And it's not the big things; it's the small things. Because those small things, they
Whoop, whoop.
Uh-oh.
Yep. The small things, the small things become larger things when they're not addressed.
Well, I agree with that. I agree with what he just said, that last thing right there, because like I said, we didn't laugh anymore. This man made me laugh so much from the moment I met him. And then I wasn't laughing. And I was like, I can't, no, something has changed, something is different. So that was a sign. And then, um, to get around that, I would try to plan things for us to do, solutions, coming up with solutions. I couldn't. So it wasn't working. Go ahead, Dennis.
yeah, I just you know, it's really about paying attention to detail. It's just that when you get into a relationship, you get so comfortable with that person, you take that person for granted. You take their kindness and the love that they have for you for granted. And when they start to walk out the door, you say, "I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change." But that person done changed their mind long time ago. They were just waiting for you to try to do something. You have to, if you're not proactive in your marriage or your relationship, somebody else gonna pay attention to that person. We looking for attention. And we just sometimes we get so casual with our marriages and our relationship that we lose sight of the person that's the object of our desire, and that person starts feeling abandoned, start feeling lonely, and they start seeking. They start looking across the fence and say, "Let me go see. Let me go just test the water." And I always say why men cheat. You know, um, you know it's so many things with that when you ask why a man cheat. You don't cheat. I'm telling you, it's not the sex. I'm telling you, it's not. And it's just that when you lose sight of why you got married, the things that got you guys
Hmm.
together. If you continue to do that, I know this much. If I ever get married again, I'm gonna date my wife till I die. I'm a dater.
Hmm.
I'm a dater because those are the parts that keeps it fresh, keep the marriage fresh. You
Hmm.
you don't have to go to
Hmm.
the same places, different places, and you start enjoying each other. And it's not the actual part begins in the morning when he taps you on your behind. you know he rubs your neck, he kisses you, he rubs your shoulder, and he leaves. That's the foreplay. We forget about the foreplay in the marriage. It's not just go straight, get it, and we done. It starts when you wake up in the morning, baby. I love you. I kiss you. I hug you. I'm thinking about you all day. I'm dropping you little notes at night. In the morning before I leave, I'm calling you a flower here, a flower there. Just because, do things just because to make that person want you. Want to be. I made those mistakes. I did. I did. You get so comfortable and you get all that. "Ah, I'm the man, and you gotta listen to me. And nah, man, that's weak. That's weak. That is
So
very weak. And then you start to belittle the person that you say you love. And just like anything, a rock and a drip and a drip keep dripping on it. Eventually, a hole
we'll
gonna
get it
form.
out.
Eventually a hole will form, and you just got to know that, and get help. I mean, we talk all about that. You can't be so bullheaded where you don't say, let me go get help. I see trouble, and actually my ex-wife, she did, but still I still acted a fool. Still, that old, I was taught wrong. A lot of men were taught wrong. A lot of men didn't have, especially black men, didn't have I didn't have a man in my life to show me how to treat a woman. I didn't know what black love looked like. I didn't. I just didn't. I mean, whatever I learned on TV, on the show, and whatever I thought I knew, you know, but that's a recipe for disaster. And we have to honor our women. I didn't know that. All this is what I've say. I've learned that after my ex-wife left, and then I was forced to sit with myself. It was an ugly picture when you go look inside yourself. It's very, very ugly and painful. And you're sitting alone. You don't want nobody else but her. That's all you want. And that person has done checked out a long time ago. And you don't know if you ever gonna get another bite at that apple. You just never know. And that's why you have to make good of the person that you're with, that the promises when you first started, the commitment, the loyalty, the trust. Love ain't got nothing to do with that. It's about commitment, loyalty, and trust. You got to have those things in your marriage. You have to, and those, when the enemy is looking for a foothold, he's looking for a foothold in your marriage. He don't want marriage. He don't want relationship. He don't want marriages. He wants us to be all in this crazy, in this crazy mindset, and
Hmm.
we not respecting, we lose respect. And when we stop respecting each other, and
That's
if we
it.
just start talking any kind of way to our woman, what you want her to do, what you think she gonna do. I mean, it's just common sense. I mean, but we have to, you just have to know, um, and seek wise counsel. You always go. I never go talk to someone who's not married. You got to go to someone who has experience, who've lived that life and experienced it. And that person will give you the real deal. Not these people that still clubbing and partying, and your family, your friends are single, and a lot of times they see you. And you don't know, but that's jealousy. You got your man, they don't have a man, girl, and you go tell her something about something with you and your husband. Girl, if I was you, and here you start clubbing with them, going with them. Next thing you know, you're in a hole you can't get out of. You know, I just know that respect, loyalty, and trust, they go a long way in a marriage. The signs are in the beginning. The first time, if you don't check that person, the first time you feel disrespected. I'm not talking about in front of people. I'm talking about when you get home, baby. What you said was wrong. Can we talk about it? And so that don't happen again. It's just that when we keep holding things, pressure busts a pipe. It will, and then it comes out in a
Absolutely.
bad way where you don't have a constructive conversation anymore. You forget when you first met. Y'all used to stay up for hours and hours on the phone talking and
Mm.
keep calling each other, baby, I love you, girl, with your fine self, you pretty girl. Oh my God, you're tapping that little rear end every now and then. You having fun. You forgot all about that fun you guys been having all this time. And you lose sight of each other, and then that person start wondering, his eyes start wondering, her eyes start wondering, and next thing she's doing things, he's doing things he's not supposed to do. And a lot of times you can't come back from that. And then you lose the trust in the marriage. If you don't a marriage or relationship, you lose trust in each other. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, Dennis, one of the things that you said that resonated with me, and I'm very familiar with, is using the word familiar. Is family comes from the word familiar, familiarity. Um,
Breeds
we
content.
breeds contempt. It's true.
Yes, yes,
And
yes, yes,
thank you for that, Debbie. And it only breeds contempt in that we are so familiar with the person that we
yes,
don't treat them the same way we used to treat them. Like
yes,
if I go outside and I see a stranger and I'm bumping into them, I'm going to say, "Oh, I'm sorry," or "Excuse me, can you do this?" Or they do something, I say, "Thank you." When you're familiar with someone, you drop those things. Somehow people drop those things. And that's what counseling can help. So when we become so
yeah,
familiar that we lose respect, we lose the thank yous and the whatever else there is that is good to say around people. um and we Another thing, we need to do that from children are young. Always say thank you to your child when they do something, or can you do that for me, or will you do that for me. Now of course we have to discipline, and discipline is done in a different way. But when you just talking across the table at dinner, or walking at the park or something, you don't yell out, do that, why do you get that done?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
that kind of
yes,
stuff irks me. So always
yeah.
try to not be so familiar that you lose the respect for that person, whether it's a child
Mm,
or another person in your family, because we don't do it to people in the streets.
right.
We don't.
Right.
It,
Why would we treat our family?
I
Yeah, go
say
ahead.
that you if you go to work and let's say you're a cusser, you wouldn't go and cuss your boss when they do something wrong because you want to make that money. You want to make that paper and pay your bills or whatever else it is. If you're the boss, yeah, you're gonna find you might and you talk to your employees like they're nothing. Eventually they're gonna leave as well. So you do have to have that respect. I remember being in a relationship and the person would say things in front of people. Dennis was talking about this, but and try and belittle me in front of people. And you see, I'm a man that has held my tongue because I don't like conflict. But you see, when you go to embarrass me, I speak up. But I told them not
Hmm.
to do it. And every time they're in that situation, it's almost like someone's showing off. So I'm just saying that if you're out there as a woman or as a man and you're talking or belittling the person, your significant other, in front of people, you need to check yourself. You know, if the person don't speak up, don't think that they've not felt that hurt and that embarrassment, of feeling why is this person talking to me like I'm nothing when I'm somebody?
Don't.
You're supposed to care about me and care about my feelings, but yet you're belittling me in front of people, in front of mum, in front of your brother or whoever. And the other thing that I've learned along the way, there's things that you do not share with any other person. Yeah. That's not your husband or your wife, your significant other. Yeah. There's things that you don't.
Absolutely.
There's
Absolutely.
things that I know not to now. Yeah. Not to talk to people about. Yeah. Because your relationship is your relationship. I just wanted to just say something about and then you, Debbie, from First Peter.
Wait a second, Paul. Wait a second. That thing that you just said about biting your tongue and all that. We have a saying in Jamaica for that, and it's don't sip your tea while it's hot.
All right, all
You
right.
let it cool, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
taste the tea. Don't sip your tea while it's hot.
Because
Yeah.
I like to, and I did have the conversation with them after, but they kept on doing it. So what then happens is that you think, you know what? Who you talking to? You talk to me like me a dog in front of people, and you don't. You that's not where you want to go. But you've told them not to do this thing, yeah. Because I know me, like some of you know you, yeah. We didn't just grow like this and being polite and everything else like that. When no one was around, we know how to cuss. We know how to say these words, and because we're believers of God, it doesn't mean that we don't know all these things anymore. You keep pressing the button or keep stabbing. Yeah, you're gonna find that I'm gonna shout out yeah. But I just wanted
Hmm.
to a scripture what came to my mind when we was talking. Um, if this will open now, you see everything's happening tonight. Uh, it's like okay, I'm all right with that. I'm all right that because you're not gonna stop the show. This is taken from First Peter 5:8. And I'm going to read two versions. I'm going to read King James first of all. First Peter 5:8 says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walketh around as a raging lion, seeking whom he can devour." I do the amplified. It says, "Be sober, well balanced, and self-disciplined. Be alert and cautious at all times, that the enemy of yours, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, fiercely hungry, seeking someone to devour. And I think when you open yourself up to, Dennis said it earlier on, you all the bitterness and um, there's a word that I keep remembering and I forget. You hold inside. You're opening yourself up um, to the enemy. I'm telling you, because you, for me, when I was like that, I allowed myself to stray here first and foremost. Um, because I was holding it, holding it, holding it, and you kept on beating me, beating me, beating me. Now I think myself, you know what? What am I here for? What am I? And every thought that you have isn't always a good thought. You know, it ain't always pure. Yeah,
Mhm.
finding someone else does not solve the problem. Turning to drugs doesn't solve the problem. Drink doesn't solve the problem. I tell you what solves the problem. Three things: God,
God.
wise counsel, and um, transparency with honesty. I mean, I can go on with more. Um, those things. Find a counselor. When I say transparency, find someone to talk to that you're transparent. And
Mhm.
Dennis said it right.
Professional.
Do not find somebody who is single. Your friend who is single and raving and everything else like that is not the person to give you sound advice. Yeah, Debbie.
Yes, so I was thinking a lot has been said and a lot of positive things have been said, and I really wanted to just add to what you guys have been saying. And I think that just listening to just all of you, the we've listened to Dennis, we've listened to Millicent, we've listened to you, Paul, and the resounding thing is to pay attention to what is actually going on, because if the
Absolutely.
moment you lose the focus, and oftentimes this is what happens in relationships, the focus goes from us to me. When you feel
Mm,
affected, when something happens and you then make a decision, well, I'm not going to be intimate with that person. Don't think because you've made that decision not to be intimate with them that that's not going to grate against them. And it opens up different areas. So when I spoke about the lack of communication, which is a sign of the relationship coming to an end, it doesn't get there overnight. It's
Mhm.
over a period of time, and the lack of communication can be because that person don't want to express how they're feeling. Also, because they might not want to offend you, they might not want to say something that will rock the boat, so they say nothing, and it becomes a pattern of behavior where each other's saying, I'm not going to say something to offend, and then you're not being authentic, you're not being your real self, you're treading on eggshells because you don't want to upset, you don't want to offend, and then because of what that person's response might be. Now I can say this from myself, because a lot of what I experienced in the past was abandonment and rejection. I wouldn't say what I was really thinking and feeling. And that made it worse for me, because I needed to express what I was thinking and feeling, because then that person thought that they could just continue doing what they was doing. Now, I saw signs, but because I didn't want to offend, because I didn't want to say what I needed to say, because I was fearful of the rejection and being abandoned, I didn't I didn't speak up. So one of the things that I would encourage you to do is speak up. My mum used to say it like this: speak the truth and cause it what it will. If you're speaking the truth, if you're sharing your authentic self and saying that hurts, because that person might not know that they're hurting you, they might not know that what they might not know what you're experiencing from them, and so I think it's important, as well as looking for the signs of the relationship is ending, to look at signs on how you can bring restoration, how you can be honest, how you can be transparent in the relationship. And another thing that I was listening to was, um, everyone smiled when Dennis mentioned about in the beginning, when you're talking to each other on the phone for ages, and You know, everyone smiled because everyone can relate to that. Everyone can remembers what it was like to feel that excitement and wanting to see that person and get dressed up and do your hair nice and put on something sharp and smell nice. And that should not be lost in your relationship at any point in time. You know, I remember speaking to one of my friends one time, and it was a girls' trip away, and when we was all like sharing the room and everything, my friend, she had like some big panties on, like big. And we was laughing. We was just like, why is the panties so big? She says, like, boy, they're comfortable, you know. I just love them. My granny always bought me these underwear and everything like that. And we was just like, those are like your monthly underwear. Those are the ones that you can put on when you're on your monthly. But those ain't the ones that you need to be wearing with your husband. And she was just like, it's all right. He's fine with it. He knows that I love this. We was like, no way. He does
No,
not like it. He does not like it.
oh my
He's
God.
only putting up with it, but he does not like that.
Yes,
He wants to
yes,
see
yes,
some thong,
yes.
thong, thong, thongs. That's what he wants to see.
Yeah,
Or he wants to see some sexy underwear. You can't tell me that your man is okay with those granny knickers. No, he is not. He will probably put up with them if you're wearing them for your monthly to bed. Do you get what I'm saying? Or whenever. But you wearing that every night? Come on. And it's those things that you must remember, you know. I've actually been in a situation where I wouldn't say chastised, but I'm that person that wants to wear the sexy underwear morning, noon, and night. Like that's me. And I remember being on a holiday, and I had one for every day of the holiday. You know, like you plan. I was like planning, and I packed, and I was like, this is Monday, Tuesday, just switch it up on Wednesday. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, do you have to do that every night? And I was like, well, yeah. I just thought that that was a good thing. I thought, and for me, I was just, it was like you popped my bubble. Like I was doing this for you. I'm not even doing it for me. I was doing it for you. We're on holiday. Let's just get fiery. No kids around. You know what I mean? And so there are things that you can do where you really pushing the boat out, and the person isn't receiving what you're doing. I genuinely got offended. I was just like, well, you ain't getting nothing.
You
Not
know
not
what? You
not
need to have
sexually.
the big granny knickers, Debbie.
No,
That
not
might have been more
sexually.
pleasing.
It wasn't that you weren't getting nothing sexually, but I was just like, okay, I'm putting them back in my suitcase. There was like none. And unfortunately, I can be a bit black and white, yes or no. Do you get what I mean? It was just like for him it was just too full on. And I needed to probably do it like Monday, because we was away for like 2 weeks, probably Monday, probably like Thursday. Do you get what I mean? But in my mind, I was so excited. I just went and just
can
bought
I
up.
ask you something? Did he meet you like that?
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
the no, but so this is what I'm saying. Why change? I mean, that's how
Mm.
he met you. You know, and why would you change who you are to please somebody in the end? And you're gonna make yourself miserable. You'll say, "Look what I did for you," and you wouldn't do. You see, you counting. You start counting. I'm doing this. It's no love
But
in
that's
that.
what I'm saying.
You do it
It's no longer authentic. It's no longer
yeah,
natural. And
exactly, exactly,
that's why I
exactly.
went back. That's why I started with the lack of communication, because
Right there, you go.
when
There you
something
go.
like
Yeah,
that happens, now you're not going to communicate how you feel. You're just going to withdraw. You're not going to be putting on the
exactly,
same underwear
exactly.
as much, or you'll be planning in your mind, should I do it Monday or should I do it Tuesday? Should I do it
Yeah,
Wednesday or should I do it Thursday?
And it's
Is
no
he gonna
longer
like it?
authentic.
Isn't
Eh,
he gonna like it? And
Mm.
then
yeah,
you're not being your true authentic self.
yeah.
And
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 that's
the
what the
thing is,
resentment comes in.
right, and then the thing is, if you're that kind of person that is really vibrant, outgoing, and so forth, like with me, I like to laugh, I like to dance, I like to act the fool, I like to do all of those things. If that's how you found me, like you said, Dennis, this is how I'm
Hmm.
going to be. There's going to be
Absolutely. Go out.
those moments where I'm going to be serious, obviously, but my character is my character. This is who I am. I like to have
Yeah.
fun. I like to push the boat out, and those things shouldn't change within your relationship. They
Yeah,
shouldn't,
right.
because the thing
And
is,
you go
that's how
remember
that
that. You go
person
remember
found
that.
you.
Cause
Absolutely,
I think down
that's
the
how that
road,
person
you're not
found
you
you.
you right now you're gonna say it, but I think when you get in a real argument, that's something you're gonna bring up. And you mean we was on vacation, and you know me, you know that's the kind of stuff that builds and builds and builds over a
Absolutely.
period of time. When you kind of gloss over it and you don't really sit down and say, look, you met me like this, and now you asking me to change, why make yourself uncomfortable for somebody else? It makes no
But
sense to me.
the thing is, in my mind, I could understand if it was a bad thing, but in my
Uh huh.
mind, it was a good thing. Do you get what I
Uh huh.
mean? And
Right.
that
Uh
good
huh.
thing, you can then turn that good thing into something that becomes a bad thing because, you know, I mean, I didn't fully take it on board in the sense that
Mm-hmm.
it was something that I never ever did again. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
did do it, but I had to consciously think, and I think that what I identified was that it wasn't so much that it was the underwear, it was where your mind was at. And there was something that was irritating you, and that was the
Mm-hmm.
only way that you could express it. And that's what I came to the conclusion with, because I thought, if I take this personal, I'm going to miss what is actually happening here. I'm
Mm.
going to miss that there is a challenge here in your mind about me doing this. There's something that I was missing at the time, and I realized that he was going through challenges in his mind concerning our relationship, but wasn't being vocal, but wanted to use that as something to highlight there's a problem, if you get what I mean.
Right,
Yeah,
and that's the
yeah.
underlining thing we don't. That's the things that the underlining thing. He just broke a glass, and you making a big deal out of it. But that's not about the
That's not
glass.
what the
It's
real
about all
problem
that
is.
other
Yeah,
stuff. It's about all
yeah.
that other stuff, and then it
Absolutely.
get worse because y'all both trying to you saying all this. Remember last month, this month, and y'all never ever
You're
hear each other.
finding out what the problem is. The thing is, instead of being transparent and being honest and saying
Yes,
this grates against me, you use something that I was doing positive to
right.
counteract it with a negative for me to know that there's a problem. But I still don't know what the problem is. I just knew that it couldn't be the underwear. I knew it couldn't have been the underwear. And that's why I thought, initially I was going along with that, but then I thought, no, there's something else.
No.
And then it was kind of like trying to work out where the problem is because you're not being open.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see that you're doing good things and the person's nitpicking or criticizing who you are, your character,
Yeah.
and so forth, you know that there are underlying problems, especially if you're just being kind and you're being vibrant and
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right.
if you if you go from the kitchen and you're dancing, why are you dancing? Why are you laughing? Why are you talking? Why are you, why are
Yeah,
you existing? Come out
Going
my
to the
day.
gym. Why you going to the gym?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So you know there's an underlying problem, but you don't know where it is because that person's not expressing it. And at the time, I was more focusing on what they were saying because your words are power. But then I took a step back and was able to identify it's not the thing that you are raising up as being a thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to fit pieces of the jigsaw together and it just wasn't working. I just because I'm focusing on something that isn't the problem. You're getting angry with me because I'm
The
focusing on what you
problem
said.
is not the problem.
Right,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
So,
Right.
it's a hit and miss scenario. So, one of the things that I really wanted to encourage the listeners with is to pay attention to what the person is saying. Pay attention to what they're saying, you know, and try and ask the right questions. Like,
I was gonna mention that just now.
what is the problem here? Can we
Mm.
sit down and talk? Because the underwear surely couldn't be the problem because this is something that you like. It's something that's sexy.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Problem.
Hey,
So
you know what men do when you leave your house, and I know you probably don't notice this, but
come
we
on now,
watch you. We watch
expose.
you. We watch you. I'm gonna give you the game. So we watch you, especially if we having trouble in our marriage, right? And think about this. What I'm about to tell you. We looking at you. We something going on with us, right? And then you dress and I'm like, hold on, my wife done step it up a notch. She don't do it for me. She not doing it for me because she leaving the house. If you leaving the house and you dressing to the nines from head to toe, but you're going short to someone else, and it
I'm
makes us get
dressing
in
to
our
the nines
feelings.
every
Yeah,
day. Yeah.
yeah, but Paul,
Uh,
you gotta watch it, Paul. We gotta
That's
watch it,
no,
you know. But I'm
But the
listen.
saying,
thing
you
is,
know, we
no.
watch it. But if it's not a if it's a pattern, right? If it's not a
No,
pattern, right?
I'm
And then
telling you.
yeah, and then you change it up, and especially if we arguing, and we go a month, 2 month, and we slowly see you. Oh, you say you start dressing different, like, and we gonna make a comment to you. I want to say this right quick. When Maya Angelou says, when somebody show you who they are the first time,
believe
believe them.
them.
A lot of
Believe
times in a
them.
marriage, when in a relationship, we out somewhere and we a bunch of people. He says something to you. This the real him when he's saying it. He's just with a bunch of people. He said, "Oh boy, he just clowning." And then months later, and he figured you let him get away with that the first time because you didn't speak on it. You didn't speak on it. And then he figured you give him an open door, you give him a pass. To now he wants to belittle you and make you feel
Hmm.
less than. And then that messes with your self-esteem, your self-confidence.
Hmm.
That's when a man starts to break you down. He breaks you down. That way you don't feel good enough. You don't feel pretty enough. That's what we do.
The
That's what
other
we
way
do.
it happens
That's
as well. With some
mhm.
women do it to men as well. They get away with
Absolutely.
saying certain things, and you know what?
Absolutely.
I'll
Absolutely.
say it again, and he doesn't react to it. See, if you don't, I'm not saying you react to it like, but I do say that it is something that you have to address. If you don't like it, yeah,
Hmm.
you do need to address it. Let them know that no. I don't appreciate that kind of behavior from you or anyone else. But what we do is that we get complacent, and then we think, yeah, and we letting these things slide until they build up. The word what I wanted earlier was a resentment. You know,
Resent.
you get resentful. And no matter how, whether believers or not, you know these are real feelings. You think, what, you're taking me for granted. You treat me like I'm an idiot. You
But
know.
in those moments when you feel like that, though, it's important for you to share that in a
Yes.
moment when you are calm, when
Yes.
you've had time to reflect. It's
Hmm.
important that you say, "Do you know the other day when we was speaking, or you said something that really upset me?
Yeah,
That really hurt me."
I
and and
agree.
and and try and use your language in a way that it's not accusatory. you know
Passive.
you did this and you said that and you did the other. Talk about how it made you feel, how
Hmm.
how it made you feel. And you can even throw in there, I don't think that you probably might have did this intentionally, however, this is how what you said
That
made me feel.
situation made me, yeah.
Right.
In
because
this
because
very,
what is because
go on, Debbie, you finish.
what is important is that you don't point the finger, because by you pointing the finger, that person will become defensive. They are going
Hmm.
to respond in a defensive way. And that's what you want to try and avoid, because what you're trying to do is express to them how something made you feel, rather than accusing them of trying to make you feel the way that you felt.
Absolutely. And this very well mind.com, um, it was saying the title of this part is how to rekindle the conversation spark with a long-term partner. And they were saying to ask open-ended questions. Ask your partner um, that encouraging, or to encourage a deeper conversation. For example, you could ask them these are just examples, yeah. What's something you always wanted to try but you haven't? So it goes on with another subheading. It says dive deeper, go beyond surface level questions. Instead of asking how was your day, ask what was the most interesting thing that happened at work today. And it might be someone flirting with you. No, not really. This man winked at me,
You're not
Next
going
thing,
to say that.
yeah, you're saying to yourself, why did I ask this question? Yeah, I didn't want the answer, you know. But or they've had a rough day. You could ask them what frustrated you the most today. But this is the one that I really love. This one, I really really do. It says play conversational games. Try playful conversation games like two truths and a lie.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
And
Or
then
would
they
you
become so
rather?
good at lying, you don't even know when they lie.
Yeah, and exactly. Yeah, I don't agree with that bit. I mean, the play conversational games is the part that I like. You know, or would you rather to add a fun element to your interaction. Play dress up. Yeah. Who can dress up the silliest? Yeah. Go in the other rooms and put on his clothes. I'm not saying put on her clothes, right? Yeah, but put something on in an odd way, you know. Buy some afros and stuff like tell them music in the house and the dance and act silly, goofy, as they like to use the word. Because you know what really happens? Everything gets serious. Yeah, we're always serious. Yeah, because you got issues going on, so it's always an intense thing. I know this guy, and I don't want to mention his name on here. That he used to play this rare groove, yeah, music, and I tell you, I listened every week, and I was jamming with him, you know. And when he stopped, it was like a part of me had gone, you know, because I remember in the 80s listening to all this music, and it was that nostalgic energy that was there. I went to our cousin's, it's my cousin brother now, you know, he's my brother. His wedding just the other day to his lovely wife as well. You wouldn't think that we only just met, you know. And there the DJ was playing music from back in the day. And you know what? It was a feel-good factor. So I'm saying all that to say, go back to those feel-good factors that you had in the beginning. Yeah. Start rekindling. You can start with one thing a day. I'll keep on talking about these one things. Yeah. One thing. Yeah. That will make you smile again.
And you know what?
Make
Do you
you
know what is really good? One of the things that I suggest to people as well is that you, because children might be involved, because work might be involved, because finances might be involved, you can then go back and say to the person, what was the one thing that you liked about me when we first met? When you say that, watch how their face lights up, watch how they smile, watch how that whole reminiscing, or ask the question, what is the one thing that you like for me to do, that you've always liked for me to do? What is the perfume that you've always liked me to wear? What is the dress that you like me to wear? I mean, sometimes people, it's nice when you've got your partner and you say to them, what do you think of this? Should I wear this? Or what would you like me to wear out tonight? You know, and it's making them know that they count, making them know that, you know, we're going out together, but what would you like me to wear? What shoes would you like me to wear? And these are the things that you probably did in the first place. And if you didn't, they're things that you can do now, you know, to rekindle back the love that you have for that person. I mean, when you get to the point where you see the signs of the relationship fading and looking to draw to an end, some people become desperate, and so they do desperate measures to restore their relationship, and that can be even more detrimental, to be quite honest, because now you are saying and doing anything, and then you're becoming a bit like a doormat, begging and pleading and so forth for that person to remain with you and so forth, and that can be detrimental. We're not talking about that extreme. There are things that you can implement that is really subtle, that lets that person know we are going through challenges, but you know what, I still love you, I still want to be with you. There might be the level of respect that's lost. You can ask that person, how do you think I've been disrespecting you? What can I do to show you that I want to show you respect, I want to trust you? What are those things that I can do? And these are things that you can implement. I don't think that you should just assume, because assumptions probably got you to the point that you're at, where you're just assuming that my partner wants this, and just assuming that what my partner said, they meant this. I was having a conversation with a lady who's literally coming to the end of the relationship, and she said she's looking to like sell her home, looking to separate and so forth. And I said, are you planning on filing for a divorce? And she said no. And I said good. I said good, because the separation might mean enough to both of them to put in the work, to realize we need to work on us so that we can now come back together. There has been traumas, there's been childhood issues and so forth that has probably contributed, not probably, but would have contributed towards the relationship. You know, healing for yourself can bring restoration to your marriage, to your relationship. That's fundamental, because people are wounded and they're in relationships and they're bleeding out on the other person, and people genuinely got together because they loved each other, because they saw a future with each other, but in the midst of it, somewhere along the line, things have gone wrong. And I think it's going back to your core values, it's going back to the things that you experienced in the beginning that really solidified your relationship, that brought you to the place that you got married or engaged, or, you know, in a long-term relationship, and really look to see if you can rekindle some of those things. We've said it and we've said it so many times: get the help and get the support. Fundamental. Not every person is willing to go to a counselor, but you know, you can have wise counsel from people who are not counselors. And that's why when we say on here, you know, about our disclaimer, when we say like we're not professionals in inverted commas, the amount of people that we've counseled, it's ridiculous. Between all of us lot, the amount of people that we've counseled is ridiculous. You know, and you don't need to have a degree, you just need to live a little, you just need to, you know,
Be
live a while,
transparent.
experience a number of things, and be willing to impart some of the knowledge and the wisdom that you've actually picked up along the way, and the lessons that you've learned, the good, the bad, the indifference, that
Yes.
you can say, do you know what, I was the fool. Like my brother says, I was the one that was acting the fool, I was the one that was being like this. Dennis has come on here and confessed, you know, this is what us men do, because they're giving you insight, we're giving you insight, we're giving you tools that you can use to enrich and empower your relationships.
Absolutely.
So I'm wondering if we can all just give the listening audience some nuggets so that we can basically bring this to a wrap.
I'd like to just kick off with, well, I've said about this one thing at a time, dealing with one thing at a time. Even if it's the one thing that's taken all night to talk about, but you come to a resolution, you resolve that one thing. Tomorrow it'll be another thing, or maybe tomorrow comes in, you say, let's not have a deep conversation tomorrow, but we're gonna have that appointment in 2 days. But you have to address the issue. If an issue comes up, you have to deal with it. Yeah. One of the last thing on here, very well minded and .com, and this is, we've said it as well so many times, but I'm going to say it like this now, as opposed to being transparent, be vulnerable. It says be vulnerable, share your thoughts, fears, dreams and vulnerabilities with each other. Vulnerability can deepen emotional intimacy and lead to more meaningful conversations. I just think that that's a wonderful thing. You know, we're here and we're telling you about us because we're transparent. We're being vulnerable here. You know, we'll tell you about our past rights and wrongs. And this is the person who you're with. You spent a year or 2 years or 5 years or 15 years, 20 years with this person. I know people who have been with each other 40, 50 years and then you're separating. Yeah, because you didn't deal with those situations that occurred along the way and you just existed but not lived. You know, live. This is the person who you chose. They put that smile in your face from the beginning. You know, it might have been the way they danced or the way they dressed or how they carry their hair, the way they smile, the way their teeth look, their eyes. I'm talking about myself, not really. You know, it could be a whole lot of different things, you know, that drew you into this person, you know, their aura and the conversations, because each and every one of us had conversations with this person. You didn't get with them and it was like you're looking at each other and then you're together. No, you didn't.
Right.
You wanted to know something about this person, and you smiled. And we go back to where we was in the beginning of this conversation and the telephone conversations. Be goofy, yeah. Ring. You could be downstairs or upstairs, and you ring the phone. And hello, I just
Mm.
wanted to tell you I love you, my baby. Yeah, be goofy. Who cares? There's no one else to impress. This is the person you love. You know. And one thing, my last thing, stop wearing those tents to bed, please. Stop wearing tents to bed now and then, but stop wearing the tents. Um,
The
those
tense.
men who are still wearing pajamas. The clown, when you see a clown, he's wearing all this baggy stuff, and he's a clown. Stop. And you know what? It's a friend of mine that said to me.
Go on. I'm going to
He
tell you
said
why
to
women
me,
wear that.
he said to me, we were in a deep conversation because I like to talk and he does. And he said, him and his missus don't wear nothing to bed. Yeah. He said that touch, that skin to skin ignites something. Yeah. And I thought, I remember that. We put on because we're cold. And then we just start saying, you know what? Yeah, there's so I'm gonna put this on, yeah, as opposed to pulling up the coat a bit more,
Mm.
Oh, my feet are cold, so I'm wearing socks to bed. Take them socks off. Yeah.
Socks off.
I think that,
Your
and
foot.
one thing for the men, and I'll end it with this one. When your woman is dressed up for you, stop taking it all off. She made the effort to put it on. Yeah, admire what she's done. Tell her what you feel like. Tell her what she looks like. Not just you look good, and then you're the bunny rabbit. Yeah, no, tell her, girl, you look good. When you see how that look, and it's tight, and you can be transparent let me say, you can be raw with your loved one. Yeah, you can talk about her breasts or whatever you want to be talking about. It's okay. Turn around. Oh gosh, compliment your woman for making the effort. It takes a lot for a woman to dress up for you. I'm going to tell you that now. It takes a lot because she wants to, in the same way, please you, whether cooking or washing or whatever. Or she wants to put on something that's going to attract your eye, and treasure what you have. That's the last word. Treasure what you have, because when it's gone, and that's both ways, yeah, for men and women, because gone, and you think you're picking up with somebody who's got all these the same attributes. No, they haven't, because all of us are individuals. Yeah, they might hold 5, but those crucial 5 that you wanted is gone out the door and never to see them again. That's my final word for tonight.
I wanted to touch a little bit on what you were saying.
Is there anything in the chat?
Tense.
Is there anything in the chat? Because I can't bring up the chat.
No. It's just Sonia. She was clapping. Earlier on.
Right.
But I wanted to say a couple of things about the tent scenario. One, sometimes women feel vulnerable in being in the bed without having something on. But I can speak from experience because of feeling that vulnerability and feeling abused. I didn't want to not have clothes on, if you get what I mean. But I overcame that as time went on. I was able to overcome that. I would even be intimate and then put on clothes to cover myself up. So there are some reasons why, legitimate reasons why women might do that. And that means, and I know some women who has been abused, and they, have said exactly the same thing, where they might wear underwear to bed, where they might wear clothes down to their ankles to cover themselves up. But again, that doesn't mean ladies, that it must remain like that. That means that you need to get the help and the support, and don't go to your bed with them big tents on. You need to get the help and support. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do,
Oh my
because
gosh.
healing needs to happen so that you can be the wife that you need to be for your husband, where you can go to bed naked. Your husband's there to protect you. He's there. So you not wearing anything to bed, he's your protector now. He's going to make sure that nothing happens to you. Do you get what I mean? So I wanted to say that, because there
I like
sometimes
that.
are
Very good.
legitimate reasons why women
Hmm.
do that.
I like
However,
that.
it doesn't mean it must remain like that. Do you get what I mean? So I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just saying, get the help,
Hmm.
get the support, and your
Very good.
husband will be your protector. Go ahead.
Very good. Millicent,
I, okay.
final words.
Final
However, you,
words. Well,
no, no, no,
piggyback
not,
off
not
of
just
what you
word,
said.
but something
Hmm.
for the audience.
I got you.
Something for the
I
road.
think I think going to bed naked is very sexy.
It
I
is.
think it should be done more so than not. It
Mm-hmm.
is also one of the things that is the first thing, boy or girl, that they suggest you do when a baby is born, skin
Absolutely.
to skin.
That's
It
right.
is one of the most reassuring, most loving, calming, relaxing thing that a person can do. And usually, the person that gets the baby skin to skin is the mom. So that feeling, that intimacy, that connection is formed. So when you have a partner and you're in bed with them, you have your clothes on, it's like I can't feel this. I can't.
You can't feel
I
the
can't feel.
person.
You can't feel them, right?
You can't
So
feel them.
yeah. So if you're uncomfortable with it for whatever reason, some of the reasons Debbie came up with are really good, or it's about your body size or anything that you come up with,
Absolutely.
practice it, even if you do half, just the top, because that's more sensual, or you just do the bottom, whatever it is you do. Definitely don't be having no socks on, because you need to be able to play footsies in the bed, with your
Footsies.
partner, right?
Footsies.
Some
Come
people don't like their
on.
Footsies,
feet. Some
right?
people don't like
Come
their
on.
feet. Millicent.
Hey, you turn off the light and take your socks off. I don't care what
Yeah,
you do, but figure out some way to get that sensation, that sexy feeling, that touch, that
agreed.
intimacy, and that reciprocation going on. Because what you're
Absolutely.
feeling, they're feeling, and we're human beings. God made us to fit, so
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna fit with that person, and you're not gonna fit with clothes on. So
That's
Mm,
right.
that's my piece on that. I'm
Beautiful.
I'm I'm an advocate of skin to skin. All right. So some of the things I came up with, one of the things I did not mention was journaling. That was one of the things I did when I was in the midst of all of the issues I had. That really helped me, because when you release the tension that you have inside of you, you're able
Mm-hmm.
to create, you're able to think, you're able to work, you're able to bless, you're able to pray, you're able to take care of your home and your partner, whether or not there's abuse. If you just really want to work on it, you get that stuff out of you. The body keeps score. If you keep things inside your body, it stays tense, right? But
That's
if you can journal it, write out what the problems are, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, write it out. And as well as someone else said in here is ask them how that made you feel. I think I don't know who said that, but ask them
yeah.
how that makes you feel.
Mm-hmm.
So God, counseling, church, journaling. Also, another thing that helps release tension in the body is sports. When you go and work out, you you do your favorite sport. Like mine, I love playing baseball and lifting weight. So those two things, when I go to do those, I get excited. I get excited going there, because I know, oh, my body's gonna feel great, and then I'm gonna hit the sauna afterwards. My body's making chemicals, they're making heavy the happy chemicals, and they send them to the brain. You don't feel all this happening inside of you. It's happening though. So find a sport, find an activity that brings you joy and peace or calm, and that happy chemical will come up inside of you, so that that tension can be released in that relationship in the home.
fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Debbie?
that's yeah. So I wanted to say all what just Mel just said. Not really. Yeah, I would end by saying, there are many strategies, and I would say educate yourself. Don't just expect, the people around you to be able to give you the answers. Educate yourself. There's so many books, there's so many resources out there that can help you and support you in your marriage. There's podcasts like this, there's other podcasts. So don't do it alone. Don't believe your own old ideologies. Get the support, and get to work. That's what I would say. If you want your marriage to work, get to work. And sometimes it just takes the one to let the other person know that there is a desire there. And they sometimes people don't want it to come to the end, but they don't see no hope. And so if you are the hope that that person needs, then I think that you should do it. Swallow your pride, you know, allow your ego to be deflated, and put in the work, because relationships are work. It takes the two of you. And ultimately, if you want to have that fruitful and fulfilling relationship, even when there's signs of things breaking down, we know that there can be restoration. We
Yeah.
know that, something can be broken, mashed down. I like renovations of homes, and oftentimes I go past places and they're totally mashed down, and in my mind I could envision that place being restored. And when it has been restored, I'm like, wow, look at that. Who could have even thought that they would have made it even bigger and better than what it was in the first place.
That place in uh, near Horniman Museum, that house that was there forever, that big house
Ever.
smashed down
Absolutely.
near the Harvester.
Yeah, I
And
know.
have you seen it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, wow.
And that's what I'm saying. There
Yeah.
can be restoration, and I have hope for people whose relationships are seeming as though they are coming to a close. And I think that by listening to podcasts like this and getting some resources, and going again and asking the right questions and humbling yourself, I think that there can be restoration in your marriage. So
Absolutely.
you know, I just really want to say thank you to Millicent and Dennis for coming on. Thank you to my big brother for sharing. Everybody's shared, and there's so much more that we could actually share. It's just time doesn't permit us. But I hope that there is something that you can take away today, and
Absolutely.
and use it to help improve your relationship, even if it seems like there's no hope.
Nothing wrong. Absolutely.
Hope.
I,
So
I, I was going to just say this one thing, and we all have or suffered some sort of trauma in our life, and so when you're coming together, you don't always talk about the things that have broken you or hurt you or whatever it's done. But it's a good thing to do now to pinpoint those things. What came to my mind is that some of us have been in so many relationships. And if we look at it, it ended because of this. But there will be things that were the same.
root cause.
Yeah. And sometimes we have to look here first
Yeah,
at
heal.
ourselves. Yeah. What did I bring? What did I do? What could I have done different? Did I? Did I? Did I? And
Hmm.
that's the first place that you start with you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so if you're in a relationship and things are kind of crazy and it's your fault, no, it's yours. Actually, it's both your fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You've chosen not to communicate in the right way. You've chosen not to deal with these unresolved issues. You've both chosen that. And now this business looks like it's folding in, becoming bankrupt, or it just doesn't look like any hope. But there are investors out there.
Hmm.
There are people that will invest in you. There's people that, and I'm saying it um, uh, like that. There's people that will help you to grow and have a fruitful relationship. I just
Yeah.
want to say that there was a bit more. There's more
No,
in here, but
there is.
we can't.
That's what I'm saying.
It bounces to one thing to another thing.
Because off of the back of that, I could say something, and then off of the
I
back of
know.
that, I know Millicent could say something, and we could be, because it's that wisdom, and it's iron sharpeneth iron, and it's us, strengthening, the argument that we have in order to really help you. So thank you once again. Please, please, please share with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel, help us to get this out to more and more people, and we will
Absolutely.
catch you on next week. We lost Dennis along the way, but we appreciate his input, and I see the signs. God bless you all. Have a
God bless
wonderful
you.
evening. Until
Thank you
next
for tuning in, everybody,
week.
on whatever platform you're on. All right.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.